Recording in progress.
Like to welcome everybody here. It is a city council meeting, December 17th. The time is just shortly after 6 o'clock. I'll go ahead and open the meeting with prayer. Our Father in heaven, as we come before thee as a group of thy children, we're so very thankful for the country we live in, the state we live in, and the city. We're thankful for any guidance that thou would please give us. Would ask thee to please bless us with moisture. We do need moisture, Father. Would ask that thou would please bless us with the moisture we need. Help us, Father, this night as we make decisions about the future of our city. Help us to make good decisions. We say these things, Father, in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen. Okay, Jim Rowland will lead us in the pledge. Jim? No. Testing? Okay. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Jim. Okay, we'll go ahead and proceed with the consent agenda. Number one, approval of the December 3rd, 2025 City Council minutes. And number two, confirmation of monthly financial information. Unless there's any discussion, council, on these items of the consent agenda, I'm ready for a motion.
Mayor, I motion that we approve the consent agenda.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and seconded, starting with Council Christensen,
Yes.
Council Rowley,
Yes.
Council Moss, Council Hyatt. Before I go any, motion carries. Thank you. Before I go any further, I'd like to excuse Council Hewlett. He's had other obligations tonight and won't be able to be with us. Okay, moving on to petitions. Number one, presentation of the financial audit for fiscal year 2024-2025. John, are you here? Where are you at, John? Oh, right there in the back. Okay. Am I pronouncing your last name right? Harderly? Oh, well, that's, I knew I'd screw it up. Representing Larson and Company, and thank you for doing the audit for us.
Yeah, thanks for letting us take a few minutes. So tonight, hopefully you've all had a chance to at least go through the financial statements. I'm just going to go over the reports that we're required to issue, as well as the opinions that we issue and what those opinions entail. And then the small report that you got, which is our communication to you as a governing body. So if you want to turn to page 17 in the financial statements, if you have a hard copy. So this is the independent auditor's report. This is the first report that we're required to issue, and this is primarily focused on your financial statements. And so that's the primary scope of our audit, is to audit the financial statements. Our opinion is the second paragraph of that report. I know you're not going to see the terms unmodified or unqualified in there, but instead of getting real geeky on you and talking accounting language, those are clean opinions. And the reason why we say unmodify or we unqualify something is we don't change the language in this report based on anything we found in the audit that we couldn't test or that we couldn't determine balances for. So if there were issues, then we would either have to qualify the audit and then we modify the language of the report. So it's clean opinion. It just means that the financial statements are fairly presented in all material respects for the year ended June 30th, 2025. The next section I want to point you to is the responsibilities of management for the financial statements. So ultimately, these are your financial statements. point you to the second paragraph. So this is a new requirement, and this requirement came about because of COVID. When COVID hit, nobody wanted to talk about the effects it was having on their businesses. Governments were the same. And so because of that, when financial statements were done, there was no disclosures or information about COVID. We required all of our clients to put something in there, just because we didn't know how long it was going to last, how long the shutdowns were going to last. But because of that, standards changed across the country. Now, if there are conditions or events that arise that would prohibit you from continuing as a going concern, at least for the next 12 months, then you're required to disclose those to us. Hopefully you have a financial analysis prepared on how you're going to overcome that. And we also have that same requirement as auditors, is to look at that. So even though this is the first year that we've done the audit for Payson City, when I reviewed the financial statements, I went back 5 years and started looking at revenue trends, looking for negative events or downward trends that would trigger or signify that there was something maybe amiss or some condition or event that's negatively impacting the city. There's also a standard that's coming out soon that is going to be implemented, which is you have to identify any commitments or contingencies that are impacting the city, as well as any concentration. So if you have, like, for example, you have one majority taxpayer that's one entity that pays the majority of the tax, and they decide that they're going to leave Payson City, that's a huge hit to your revenue stream. And so what are you going to do to overcome that? So those are the types of conditions or events that we're talking about. All right, on the next page, the required supplementary information. So there's a couple of sections inside the financial statements that are considered required supplementary information, and that's the management's discussion analysis that always follows the audit report and precedes the financial statements. And then after the notes of the financial statements, there's a section that is called the required supplementary information. What's in there is your general fund budget schedule, as well as the URS pension information, the 10-year schedules. Those two sections are not considered part of the basic financial statements, so they're considered unaudited sections. However, our governing body says that they're required to always accompany the financial statements. But just remember that those are unaudited sections. If you're having a hard time going to sleep tonight, start with the MD&A and just start reading. I promise it's better than counting sheep. But if you're not a numbers person, you don't like to do analysis in raw numbers, the MD&A is a really good place to read. Typically, if you're used to seeing private company financial statements, you're going to see the current year presented, and then in a column next to that, you'll see the preceding year. And they do that comparatively, so you can see the differences between this year and last year. The way government financial statements are set up, the flow of the statements, as well as you're dealing with multiple funds in certain statements, there's not a lot of room to do comparative information data. That's why we have the MD&A. So the whole purpose of the MD&A is to do analysis between last year and this year and what changed and how that's going to impact the future. So really good section to read. I would suggest that if you're going to read anything, read that, at least to start out with. And then there's supplementary information, which is the last section of the basic financial statements. That's information that either you've chosen as a city to include in your financial statements for additional information related to the financial statements, or it's required by external parties, such as if you have a single audit, then that's considered supplementary information. Sorry, I'm just getting over pneumonia, so if I start coughing, that's why I have a water bottle. All right, so now we're going to turn to page 117. The second report that we're required to issue, not going to spend a lot of time on this one, just really to give an understanding of what this report's talking about. This report just outlines that we've performed your audit in accordance with government auditing standards, and those standards require that we look at your internal controls. when we look at your controls, we're not testing a large enough sample like we do in our financial statement audit in order to give an opinion on the controls. But we are making sure that A, you have controls in place, and B, that they're actually doing what they're intended to do. You can implement all the controls you want, but if you're not going to follow them, or if they're not doing what they are set out to do, then they're really kind of worthless, and it's no use having them. So typically what we'll do is we'll look at all of the processes in the significant areas of what makes up your financial report, each of the cycles. So like your cash cycle, the receivable cycle, revenue, things like that. We document the processes first on how that money makes its way to the city and where it goes after that and how it's expended. And then inside that process, there is somebody who does something at some certain point in time, and that is your control. So we're documenting each one of those controls, making sure that there's review controls in place, that there's controls. There's not one individual who's doing multiple parts of any one process consecutively without a review control inside that. That is signifying that you have a lack of segregation of duties. What we're looking for in terms of this report are material weaknesses or significant deficiencies, which are either a combination of deficiencies or one or two controls that are so significant that there are material misstatements inside the financial statements. And if we're finding misstatements in the financial statements that are material, typically it's being caused by a control deficiency. And so we trace that back. We didn't find any material weaknesses or significant deficiencies. So we'll move on from this report, but that's kind of what that report's talking about. All right, so the third report that we're required to issue is for the state auditor. Every year they issue the compliance guide. We do give an opinion here, so this is the second opinion. This opinion is on your compliance with the areas that are outlined in the report, as well as your compliance or your controls over that compliance. So in this opinion, we are giving an opinion on your controls. And how we document that is we have a really large spreadsheet that we have your staff fill out on who does what on certain aspects of compliance and when do they do it, making sure that things happen. And then we test obviously your compliance to make sure that you're in compliance. So the areas that we looked at this year were your compliance with budgetary compliance, so budgetary integrity, fund balance, the fraud risk assessment, cash management, impact fees, the treasurer's bond, any restricted taxes or related revenues. Those would be like impact fees or Class C road money. Those are restricted on how you can spend them. Justice court, what we're looking for here is any money that's collected that the justice court makes its way back to the city and that they're reconciled together on a daily, hopefully daily basis. We're looking at the government fees. Here we're looking to make sure that they're appropriate and that they're proportionate. The best example that I can give for this is if I come here tonight and I have to pay to park, and let's say that I'm here for an hour and I have to pay $8. But if some of you have been here for 8 hours today and you pay the same $8, that's not proportionate. So my fee should be based on the amount of time that I have to park here. So if it's per hour or whatever. The other example, and this came about really because of the colleges in Utah. The other example that I can give that kind of helps explain proportionate is if you go to a state school, you might have, as part of your student fees, you're going to pay a study abroad fee, and they charge that to every student. Well, there's only about 10% of the students who actually go study abroad. And so that's not a fair fee that everybody has to pay when they're not utilizing that fee. It's only a certain percentage. So the next thing we looked at was the enterprise fund transfers. As you guys know, there's restrictions on transferring money out of the enterprise funds back to the governmental funds. And if you do that, we have to make sure that you're in compliance with that. The Utah retirement systems, making sure that you're making the contributions and that you don't have any employees on leave. And if you do, that they're documented. Open and Public Meetings Act, so making sure that you're given proper notification, that minutes are posted appropriately. So our opinion on your compliance in regards to the state compliance guide is also an unmodified or an unqualified opinion. There was one small finding, and we'll talk about that right now. If you want to turn to the next page, so we're on page 122. So this one deals with cash management. And this is a 3rd-year procedure. So this is one of the ones that most of our clients are getting caught with this year if they're in the 3rd-year cycle. So as part of state compliance, there's a group of compliance sections that are required every year. And then there's a group that we test every 3 years. It just so happens that this is the first year that we did your audit. So you automatically just fell into that 3rd-year cycle that we had to test. But this doesn't get looked at every year. But twice a year, the city's required to file the deposit and investment report. And the two things that we find is either there's cash accounts that are missing that get left off, or you're reporting what your book balance is rather than what the bank says. And what the deposit investment report requires, and the money management council, they want to know what's actually in the depository account. So in your case, not all of the cash accounts were reported on the deposit and investment report. And as you can see there, it really was just an oversight as we looked at the other report and found out that it was correct. And our recommendation is really that you have the controls in place, that you can identify all the accounts, that there's a review that to make sure all the accounts make it on that report. Once it was identified and we knew that it was incorrect, then management immediately corrected it. So it's already been corrected. So I don't expect this to be a finding in the future. So our expectation is next year that will go away. So with that, let's turn to the smaller report. And I'm also not going to spend a lot of time on this as well. You can read through this, and if you have any questions, absolutely reach out to me and we'll have a conversation. So this is, like I said, this is a report issued directly to you as a governing body at the close of our audit. The first couple of sections, our responsibility in relation to the audit, as well as the plan, scope, and timing of the audit, that's outlined in our engagement letter that we have signed before we start. So all that information is there. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that. Ethical requirements. So both me and my team are required to be independent of the city in order to perform your audit. But not only us, but my entire firm. And that onus of responsibility lies with me as the partner to make sure that we're independent. And we have a whole section in our audit documentation on independence and all the threats and how we overcame them. So really just to communicate to you that responsibility does not lie with you guys or management. That's my responsibility. But we do make sure that we are independent. Significant risks. So this is what I get questioned on a lot. This is also a new requirement that we're required to communicate to you. Hopefully your prior auditor also communicated it. But there are certain risks. So all of our audit procedures are defined by risk. So every area in the financial statement gets assigned a risk. And based on that risk, it drives the amount of tests or whether we do basic audit procedures, whether we have to do extended procedures. That's all defined by risk. And then we have overall risks that are significant that we have to plan and perform specific procedures on to make sure that there's not misstatements in the financial statements being caused by the risks. And so the risk you can see outlined right there. Some of them are defined by our governing standards, and some of them just because you're a government entity and that's kind of the nature of governments. So the first one is improper revenue recognition. That one, it doesn't matter what entity type you are, whether you're public, private, nonprofit. Back when Arthur Anderson and Enron, if you guys are old enough to remember that's what caused this change in standard. Now, every auditor has to recognize revenue recognition as a significant risk. Cash disbursements, you're dealing with public funds, and the public wants to make sure that those funds are being spent appropriately. And then potential management bias, financial statement estimates, and the ability of management to override controls are also considered a significant risk by our standards. And I'll kind of explain what those are. Management bias means that you can build bias into your financial statements. So if there's something that maybe doesn't look very good to the city, let's say that it's a litigation and you're required to disclose litigation. maybe you know that you're going to lose that litigation, and there's not a leg you're going to stand on, but the way you present it in the notes to the financial statements can make it very favorable to the city. So the users of the financial statements, they're going to read that and say, well, there's litigation, but based on this, there's no chance they're going to lose. But then you end up losing that litigation, and they've relied on that information. So you're misleading the users of the financial statements if you're not consistent and neutral and clear in the note disclosures. So we're making sure that there's not any bias built into the financial statements. Financial statement estimates, any valuation of investments is considered an estimate. The amount of time you depreciate an asset, how you depreciate an asset, that's an estimate. So we make sure that those are consistent and they're as relatively close to the same year over year, so that you guys as a governing body have good financial information that you can make decisions on. For example, if you go out and you purchase a new fire engine and it costs $500,000, if you expense that all in one period, then that's a huge hit to your bottom line. But if you, let's say you depreciate that over 50 years, then that's not very much of a depreciation expense every year. So there's a big change in what your income statement says based on how you treat that asset. Reality is there's a certain time limit that you're going to depreciate a fire truck. So we make sure that, yes, it's listed on the depreciation schedule. It's listed for 7 to 10 years. And then that depreciation is straight line over that 7 to 10 years. That's the same expense happening over that 10-year period. So you don't have these big fluctuations in income statement items because of estimate changes. All right, and then the ability for management to override controls. The best example I can give is the ability of management to create journal entries. So all of your financial statement system is built on individual transactions. So as you assess city bills, then you're going to record a revenue and a receivable in the system. Those are individual transactions based on all the customers. And you're going to send out those bills. And then those customers are going to come in, they're going to pay their city bill, and you're going to record cash, and you're going to reduce the receivable. So thousands and thousands of these individual transactions make up what this becomes at the end of the year. Now, we're all human, mistakes get made, and the way you fix mistakes in the financial system is by creating a journal entry. However, with that authority to create a journal entry and override that transaction control, you can also do things that are misappropriating or changing the financial statements in an inappropriate way. So in this instance, with journal entries, we look at every journal entry that's created during the period. We want to make sure that we know what it's doing, that it's correct, and that it's approved. Somebody's reviewing it. Somebody's just not in there by themselves creating journal entries. Things of that nature. So specific tests are addressed for these risks, making sure that there's not misstatements in the financial statements being caused by these risks. So nothing you can do to change these. This is not a reflection of anything wrong at the city. This is us as auditors saying, hey, based on this is a government entity, we know what the significant risks are. And so we're already planning those tests. So like I said, there's nothing that Kathy or anybody in management can do to really change these risks. They are what they are. We're just required to now report them to you guys as a governing body. All right. Significant accounting policies. We make sure that any new pronouncements that come out are implemented. They're implemented correctly. We make sure that the accounting principles being used in the financial statement system are appropriate. They're being done the right way. Significant accounting estimates, we talked about those. Financial statement disclosures, we talked about those. We just make sure that they're neutral and consistent and clear. Significant difficulties encountered during the audit. If there's problems, then we're required to communicate that. But I'm happy to report that the audit went actually very smoothly. For a first year audit, it was actually amazingly pretty clean. I mean, there were some things that we're going to recommend in this upcoming year. We just weren't involved enough during the year before we got to the actual audit. But there's a lot of things that we're going to talk about with management to maybe clean things up a little bit and make things more efficient for them, maybe not such a headache. And hopefully that's some of the value that we can provide. Uncorrected misstatements, if we do find differences and management chooses not to adjust their books to match what we have, that's fine as long as they're immaterial. If they become material, then we have to have you make them. But any immaterial journal entries are not required to be made, but we're required to disclose those. But we didn't have any proposed adjustments that we had were posted to the trial balance. Management representation. So we get a representation letter signed by management. And this is really just an open and honest communication letter from you to us that I like to get. We're required to get it, but it's kind of a good faith letter to me when I'm reviewing my staff's work as well as our opinions, that you guys have been open and honest in your communication to us, that there's not any issues that we haven't been made aware of that potentially could affect the opinion. So that's why we get the representation letter. And then consultations with other independent accountants. If there are issues that arise, if there's disagreements on a stance that we're taking versus what you or management think that we should be taking, you're more than welcome to go talk to a third-party accounting firm. We just need to know that you're talking to somebody and that we also have access to them, so we can say, hey, look, here's our perception. This is why we're saying this. And then we can move forward and get done with the audit. So with that, sorry that was kind of long-winded, but any questions for me?
Appreciate the job you do.
Okay. We really appreciate your staff. You guys have a good staff. Like I said, I mean, being a first year audit, we usually run into a lot of bumps, but it was pretty good.
So we want to hear we trust them. So thank you, staff. So on the one finding you did mention, you did say we've already corrected that.
Yep.
Very good.
Yeah. Yep. Unfortunately, like even though it was corrected, we found it, and so it has to be reported as.
That's why we hired
Sure.
you. So that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you said it was minor and it was a mistake and it was corrected.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Looking at our books.
Okay, moving on to number 2, Chamber Business Employee or Community Service Award. Jim, or Diane, it's Jim, isn't it? Yep. It's Jim now.
And those are two separate people for anyone.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that was exciting.
Yeah, wasn't it?
Hopefully we'll pick things up here a little bit. A quick question first. Do you have any plans for America 250 by chance?
I
As a
think they're in
city?
progress, to tell you the truth. I would
Is
check
there
with staff.
anybody connected maybe with implementing something?
Dave or
citywide?
Robert, can you answer that question?
America 250. Is anybody involved with doing anything with Payson's America 250?
Well, we worked, when we did the Dowdle puzzle, they selected us as one of the cities. They're trying to have 250 cities.
Oh, wow.
I'm not sure how much he's pushed that recently, so maybe you ought to reach out. But we were planning on getting that like giant picture put up so that people can take a picture for the 250.
On Main Street, down on Main Street in the.
I would imagine Janine's got some thoughts on that too, worth the event coordinator for us.
Okay. Yeah, we just want to be involved and kind of connect our kind of mission this year, kind of wrapped around that theme. So if you're doing anything, if you can get them in touch with me, that would be great.
Yeah, we certainly will include you.
So I'm Jim Rowland, the president and CEO of the Payson Santaquin Chamber of Commerce, and I'm here to award the Business of the Month for November. And Jennifer, you're not hiding out there, are you? Jennifer had a project out of town and she was hoping to finish in time to get here, but apparently she is not. So, the Payson Santaquin Chamber of Commerce is excited to honor a body renaissance as our Business of the Month for November, recognizing their commitment to innovation, compassionate care, and improving the lives of people in our community. They are located at 86 South Main Street in Payson, in the same building as the Parlor Salon on Main Street. And A Body Renaissance is owned and operated by Jennifer Trinidad, who began her medical journey in traditional hospital medicine After her time at Intermountain Health, Jen saw firsthand the limitations of symptom-focused care. In 2018, she took a leap of faith and started her own medical practice with a new vision, one centered on treatments that support healing, restoration, and long-term health. This is really a very unique business. And if you haven't heard of it or been there, it's something that you really should take a look at and see some of the things that they do. The vision led her to integrative and regenerative medicine, including stem cell therapy, acupuncture, and natural treatment approaches that help patients feel better, move better, and live healthier lives. In 2022, A Body Renaissance found its home in Payson, Main Street, where Jen has enjoyed building relationships and contributing to the vibrancy of downtown Payson. A Body Renaissance offers an impressive range of services, including medical weight loss, wound care, laser skin revitalization, Botox, dermal fillers, and advanced laser treatments designed to reduce dark spots, freckles, redness, spider veins, unwanted hair, and tattoos. One of their most loved and impactful offerings is stem cell treatment, which has led to remarkable outcomes such as reduced joint and muscle pain, improved oxygen levels, decreased reliance on insulin, and enhanced overall wellness. Stem cells are also used in their wound care services, helping heal wounds that have not responded to other treatments. In addition, A Body Renaissance is doing truly life-changing work in advanced wound care using stem cells, amniotic patches, and therapeutic ultrasound. These treatments are covered by Medicare and have successfully treated wounds that others have been unable to heal. A Body Renaissance operates by appointment to ensure each client receives focused individual care. They're typically in the office Tuesday through Friday. And to learn more about their services, visit their website, abodyrenaissance.com. The Chamber is proud to celebrate A Body Renaissance as a Business of the Month for their dedication to healing, innovation, and making a meaningful difference in the Payson community. So, congratulations. I guess we won't take a picture of me.
No, we already know what you look like.
Yeah, we'll try to bring her in maybe next month.
Good. We'll make some time for that.
So, yeah, really cool business. Check it out. And if you got any wounds or healing needed or aches or pains, then she may be the one to go see. So that's all. Thank you.
Thanks, Jim. Okay, moving on, number 3, I-15 interchange update. Eric Rasbad. Eric is here representing UDOT.
Thank you for the opportunity. I've just got a few items to discuss with you. Last week we had a pretty significant milestone. I'm going to talk about milestones today. We had the environmental document reevaluation completed and signed last week. That's a major deal. It allows us to move forward with the wetland permits with the Army Corps of Engineers. Today we spent a wonderful day with your staff in our office, and we went through our 60% roadway design files and got comments, and the design team is now reacting to those. So that's another great milestone. We're about 30% with the railroad and with UTA and with the Union Pacific Railroad on their designs. So we're lagging a little bit with them, but we continue to move forward. We met with the city staff yesterday in a regular coordination meeting with my leadership and the city's leadership. At that meeting, the city requested that we look at a phasing program for the interchange. So we went through in our 30% design, we designed the entire interchange out to the 30%. Now we're just progressing the roadway portion that we're funded to build through the rest of the design. But there's a desire to look at the interchange and see if there's bite-sized pieces for additional funding packages. So we'll start that effort in January, sit down with the staff, make sure that we're looking at the right segments, and then we'll put pencil to paper to understand what those would mean, timing, funding. Just want to be clear, we don't control the funding. That's the legislature and the Transportation Commission. but we're going to be providing the information so that some decisions can be made. There's also the discussion. So our project is in phase 1 of the Mountain Land Association of Governments program, which is from now until 2030, 32, which we're building. But the Main Street portion of the interchange is in phase 2, which is 2033 to 2042 for funding. We want to set it up at the request of the city so that it can be at least looked at in our prioritization process that the Transportation Commission uses to fund projects, and see how the Main Street portion of the project competes with other needs throughout the state. So we're working to find solutions for this area long term. And so those are just some updates. Any questions associated with those?
Well, for questions, let me say that our meeting that you're talking about I felt was a very productive meeting. As I said in the meeting, it's very assuring to know that we are actually partners. We're working together, and that we did not want to inhibit in any way phase 1, but we just wanted to take a look at the other phase and see where they could maybe moved up.
So those meetings are productive.
I think so.
Yep.
Council Moss.
I just have a question. Have there been any more discussions on the 800 South on-ramp, off-ramp area
That is
mess?
currently a phase 2 project in the Mountain Land Association of Governments.
And what does that mean?
Means it technically can't compete for funding until 2033 to 2042.
Okay,
Yep, it's a challenge.
it is a challenge.
The
It's
city,
getting scary.
your staff is definitely aware of it, and we have to work with Mountain Land Association of Governments, and then also through this prioritization process to see if it can be moved forward. But it's really tied to available revenue that is projected through the revenues the state gets in tax dollars. And
We just need to keep it on the table
Oh,
and in the forefront of everyone's minds because it's just going to get worse.
I don't
Well-
disagree with that. I see it on a regular basis myself
With-
as I drive through the area.
At least for the next year, I'm the chair of the MPO Municipal Planning Organization. I'll make sure it's.
Don't let them forget
I
about it.
won't let them forget.
There's
Thank you.
definitely a lot of needs and wants in the state. So I know we're stretched thin, but
Yeah,
but yeah,
it's-
please continue to keep us in your thoughts and
I-
under a microscope for funding and opportunities. On the interchange itself, staff and Eric, have we finalized all the betterments discussions? Have we? Not yet. Okay.
We're working very
Okay.
closely with staff. We're in the process of designing the utilities. And today before this meeting, we met to talk through the aesthetics pieces. So we're working through those issues. We probably are going to get to a point where we have some budgetary numbers to discuss as part of your city budgetary process. So
And for that particular, well, for this phase, for the interchange, are we still looking for a 2027 shovel ready?
I would suggest late 26. You might see some dirt.
Excellent.
If we can stay on the timeline that we are, it's late 26.
Okay.
And but 27, 28 will be major construction.
Okay, very good. And is it standard procedure? Do you build up the ramps and let those sit for an entire year every
not quite
time,
a-
or is that?
We've spent a lot of time and effort understanding the dirt and how much weight that dirt can hold.
Yeah.
And I don't know that it'll be a full year
Okay.
that the dirt has to sit on top of.
I noticed on the new Spanish Fork one, they did rip out a section and put new dirt there, and that was probably because they found some compaction issues, and
Yeah.
and they're always watching that, and we'll do the same for our interchange, I'm sure.
Yeah, so I don't know that I think our surcharge is what the technical term that we use. I think it's in the 4 to 6 month range.
And if there is an issue found with some of the compaction of the dirt, is that budgeted at all, or is that just an extra expense to the city, UDOT, both of us, one entity or the other?
Well, I think UDOT, if it's the dirt, if it's the roadway construction elements, that generally falls on the department.
Okay.
If it's a utility related part of the betterment conversation, if we run into some unforeseen issues as those are getting installed, then we could have a conversation with the city about it.
But on the dirt work, you don't send us a bill then for change orders or
The
okay.
legislature wants us to move forward with this project. They've funded the project, and so we're moving forward. We do have a funding challenge that we need to overcome, but we're communicating that with our leadership and with our Transportation Commission, which programs projects. they
And
are-
we continue to
Yeah.
look for more opportunities to have more funding.
And I'm grateful our mayor will be in that position
Mhm.
to help search for that. So thanks, Eric. That's all I have for you.
So when you say the interchange initial phase, that's the off ramp
To and
From-
from the north,
to and from the north,
Yep.
and then does that include the parkway over to
from the
SR 198?
basically from the railroad structure, which is just west of I-15
Right.
over to SR 198.
Okay,
That's the phase one project.
that's the phase one.
And it's one lane in each direction.
Nothing too fancy, just the basis to get started.
Like I said, there's some budgetary challenges.
Yeah, and that's
so-
expensive. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, so
we appreciate it.
We're gonna purchase the entire corridor width that we need. That is one other thing that we're doing is we're working actively now with property owners on
Excellent.
talking through the property acquisition process. So we're getting the full corridor width so that when future monies become available, we don't have to purchase right away for the corridor. So
Sounds good.
And obviously, with all businesses or residents that might move in there, we're gonna have proper setbacks as if the road was completed. So we're not moving.
we're purchasing the right of way that we need
Okay.
for the future.
Very good.
Yep.
Thank you.
Any other questions, concerns? Okay,
Let me weigh in on that setback. Setbacks is a city conversation. City
Right.
controls setbacks, but we're purchasing the entire road.
The right of way. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Eric, thank you.
Merry Christmas. Enjoy your time with your family. Thank you.
Merry
Merry
Christmas.
Christmas. You do the
Thanks,
same, Eric. Okay, moving on to number 4. I'll go ahead and open up a public forum. Anyone can speak on this public forum. Their time limit is right around 3 minutes. If, just 1 second, there's some things I need, just 1 second. Anyone can speak on this public forum as long as it's not on the agenda. There are some items on the agenda that could generate some comments. We're fully aware of that, but although it's not a public hearing, I will allow a limited amount of discussion there as we get to those items. So go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't mean to like walk up as you're still talking.
That's you're fine. You're fine.
So good evening, Mayor, City Council. My name is Jackie Larson. I am speaking tonight as a board member of the Utah County Farm Bureau, and also because I was contacted by several families who live and farm on the west side of town in West Mountain, about the one I think you're thinking of. So I am here to actually respectfully ask that you deny the Nebo Peak zone.
That's exactly what I just said.
So I can't do that.
No,
Okay.
there'll
Can
be
I speak in?
there'll be a time when we address those issues.
Is it a public hearing or is it just?
No, it's not a public hearing, but I will allow some comments during those discussions.
I will wait till you finish introducing that before I walk up next
That's
time
fine.
to you. Does that work? Okay.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thanks,
Okay.
Jackie.
My name is Jesse Sorensen, Payson City resident. Just wanted to thank the council and the mayor for the vote last time on the Forebay conservation easement. As the users of that area and that property, we are very grateful. Feel like that was a great move for the city to set that property aside for future generations. And it will be really a significant part of our community going forward, and a gem that we enjoy for many years. And right after the meeting last time, I saw Ann up there, and that was fun. I didn't recognize you out of context until I got past you a little bit, and I was like, I think that was Ann.
Yeah.
But very, very much appreciate your support, your leadership, and your service on this on behalf of our city and our citizens. And Brett, appreciate you guys that won't be on here next time, but really appreciate your vote. Thank you.
Jesse, just so you know, we met with Lehigh last night, Ryan Rowley and Dave and Jill and I, and made that presentation at
Awesome.
Lehigh.
Thank you. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, Jesse.
Thank you, Jesse.
Good evening. My name is Kerry Pierce, Mayor, Council. I just came to reiterate what Jesse said. I've been following this, as you know, for a long time, and I was getting a little worried. And I just want to compliment all of you on the council. I know it's a long time, but that conservation easement is going to be appreciated for generations to come. So that's really all I came for, just to tell you thanks. And then I had one other thought. We need a Kevin Bacon picture in here somewhere.
Need a what now?
Kevin Bacon picture, because every time I'm here, I'm like,
Okay,
but thank you. Thank you all so much.
okay. Thank you, Carrie. Mom, sir, appreciate you.
You're not going to give us another audit, are
I guess
you?
no. I am not here to do an audit.
One's enough.
My name's Matt Stewart. Yeah, I guess I'll just kind of reiterate, and I don't want to dominate all, everything for Bay here, but I think I'm not sure what Bill Shakespeare was talking about at the time, but there's a quote where he says, "I like this place and would willingly waste my time in it." And every time I'm in Forbay, that quote kind of pops in my head. Although I don't feel like I'm wasting my time there. But I want to just personally thank you. I had opportunity to talk to many of you at the last council meeting. I think this is just fantastic. The work that's gone into this. I'm very thankful for it. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else want to take the opportunity for the public hearing, as long as it's not on the agenda? I'm not seeing anyone that's on the edge of their seats. Is there anybody online? No, okay. Oh, there are. Okay, please identify yourself if you would.
Yeah, sure. I'm a Payson City resident. Can you hear me? All right.
Yes.
I submitted a written
We
public
need
comment.
your name, sir. We need your name.
Oh, I'm just speaking as a Payson resident.
That's fine, but we still need your name.
I respectfully prefer to speak without providing
Then if you're not going to identify us, then as who you are, I'm going to disallow your comment.
Oh, I understand. I'll rely on my written public comment submitted in advance. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Okay.
Hello, can you hear me all right?
Yes, I can.
Hi, this is Sarah Ogden. Mayor, I just wanted to address something that has been concerning me a little bit. Mainly when I hear you tell people that they aren't allowed to speak on a certain subject during this public part. I feel that may infringe on our First Amendment rights, even if it is going to be addressed later. I'm concerned about that.
Well, we've checked with council. I believe we're on firm ground, and then we'll allow some comments when it's appropriate.
Okay, as far as I understand with our First Amendment rights, this part of the meeting should be open to anything, and your regulations have to be content neutral. So whatever someone wants to speak about, I believe that they may, according to our First Amendment.
The lady that wanted to come up will have an opportunity to be able to do that. So I'm not denying anybody's right to comment. So
Okay.
I respectfully disagree, but certainly your comments are just fine.
Well, thank you for listening.
Okay, thank you. As long as it's not about the other subject. Okay. Appreciate.
My name is Jackie Larson, in case we forgot. I frequent city council meetings from Tremont and down to Santaquin. I have to say, and Mag, I've been there too. The mayor here, you do a great job about not cutting people off and making sure that it's actually a full conversation. I don't feel disrespected or offended at all that you told me to speak later. I actually do appreciate that you did do that. So just to say
Thank
my
you.
side of that. Thanks.
Appreciate it. Okay, anyone else we have waiting? No? Okay, we'll go ahead and close the public forum, and we'll move number 5, staff reports.
Mayor and Council. I'm Brandon Daly, City Attorney. I just want to report on the progress we've been making with the privacy program framework. As a part of the past few legislative sessions, the Office of Data Privacy has been putting out a lot of regulations that municipalities have to comply with, put a program in place. And one of the first steps was to get a report put together before December 31st. I met with Dave, Robert, Emily, and Kim to document what we've been doing, what needs strengthening, and what we need to implement. So that report's been completed. We're in compliance with that requirement. And so throughout the year, you may see some requests to change some ordinances to come into compliance to strengthen our privacy program. Just wanted to update you on that is happening. We are in compliance for this year. And as this coming year comes, we're gonna be making some more changes to remain in compliance in the coming years. So thank you. If you have any questions on that, be happy to answer them.
Okay, thank you, Brandon. Any other staff? Not seeing any?
Oh, there's one coming.
Oh, okay. I understand you're a little bit slower than you used to be.
Yeah.
And that's understandable, what you went through.
Just barely. Mayor and Council is good to be with you here today. Just to let you know a couple of things. Progress is moving forward with Station 92. We've been on board with a contractor and architect moving those plans forward. We've gone from what you've all seen as a conceptual design. We're just starting on the process to actually move forward plans in detail so we can end up with some construction drawings that we can go out and get subcontractors and get that going. Hopefully that'll be sooner than later, but it looks like as we go through that process, there's a lot of details that we have to put together in those plans with the architects and engineers and the contractor. They're thinking timeline. I was hoping March, April. They're thinking maybe June, but by June at the latest, and then being done by the next June. So just give you an idea on that. So it is moving forward. Also, as you know, our fire marshal decided to move to Ohio, where land is cheaper and houses are cheaper. And so being single, he can do that without having a job. So he's pretty brave. So we did interviews, had a lot of good applicants, and we've hired Todd Kilmer as our fire marshal. So we'll bring him around next council meeting to let him meet the council, and either that meeting or the next have him sworn in. So things are going good.
Thanks. So Chief, has your department decided on a conceptual plan for the new station?
Yeah, so we're working on with the architect on the floor plans right now to kind of get the basic layout. It's changing a little bit from the conceptual, but yes, working on the floor plan and site plan both at the same time.
Could you send that to us, the mayor and council, to see what you guys
Yes.
are cooking up over there? I'd love to see it. Thank you.
We'd be glad to.
And have we been in discussion with who's staging all the pipes and construction equipment there still?
That's somebody else. Travis may know.
VanCon, and
yeah.
Is that not on the property?
I'm not sure. I haven't looked at all. I've seen it there, but I think
is,
part of it is, yeah.
So we've been in contact with them, let them know that we're moving forward, and then you start moving some of their stuff off.
Hoping their construction gets done, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Chief, just so you know too, that when we met quarterly with, and you already may know this, but when we met quarterly with UDOT with Eric, the meeting that he mentioned, we went over some of the requests for that fire station as well.
All right. Appreciate that. Thank you. Thanks.
Are we getting a turn lane on us? Or what?
Well, that's the discussion. Okay, I think we're ready for council reports, and for the second one in a row, I'm going to start with you, Teresa.
She came on. Well, for my last meeting, I just want to thank everybody for being so cordial and kind. And there's several of you out there that have answered so many questions for me. I can't thank you enough. I didn't think I'd cry. I'm ready to move on. I feel 8 years. I gave what I could, but I feel that there's new blood that needs to come in and give more ideas. And so I kind of wear my heart on my sleeve. But thank you, everybody, for being supportive of me. I really appreciate it.
Okay, in light of that, Council Christensen, please.
Well, thank you very much. This has definitely been a journey. This is also my last council meeting. And it has been a learning experience that I think everybody should try at least once. It's very eye-opening, especially with things like Forbay, because I remember 8 years ago, my argument was to get rid of it because it was such a heavy burden on the city. So much money went into it. And after many, many years of looking at it and the budget and everything where it was at, it's such a small price to pay to have that much open land that we can control. And you can look at it and say, well, there's all that mountain behind it, but we don't have any control over that. We don't have any say. And so it's nice to be able to control that and provide an opportunity for our young people to get out there and to see the wild and to experience that. So Forbay, for me, it has a special place in my heart, and I was super elated for the opportunity to put that into a conservation easement so that I know that my grandchildren and great grandchildren will be able to enjoy that and to see what it has to offer. Like I say, I'm extremely grateful for the opportunity that I've got to see the city progress and the changes that have been made. It has been super fun to be part of that and very fulfilling. And I hope to be able to see that continue on. And new blood is definitely good. I can see the need to roll things over and change things up. But thank you to staff for all that you do, and to my support from my lovely wife and family. As I think about the first city council meeting, I actually missed my very first city council meeting. I was involved in a court hearing for the adoption of my child, who is now 10. And she was just a little 2-year-old. And so it's kind of fun to see that and kind of relate to it. It feels like it went really fast, but when you compare it to that, it was a long time. But just a thank you. Shout out to those that have been up here with me and all that they've done, and the mayor. So thank you.
Thank you, Brett. Council Moss.
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you so much to Teresa and Brett for welcoming me onto the council, and it's been an honor to serve with you guys. You'll be missed a lot, and thanks for everything that you guys have done. And my other thing is, the more I talk to staff and I talk to some of you a lot, and some of you don't, not very often, but I know that there's so much that goes on behind the scenes that no one sees, and our staff is truly amazing, and I commend all of you guys for the excellent work that you guys do. And I think that's it for me. And everyone have a Merry Christmas and enjoy your time with your families and on vacation and whatever else you're doing.
Council Rowley.
Thank you, Mayor. Teresa, we're gonna miss you up here. I've known you my whole life as a fellow West Mountainite, and our paths have crossed often. And I'm grateful you're willing to throw your hat in the ring. It's not easy. You can obviously see the love you have for Payson and the care. So thank you. I'll miss our long phone calls and our conversations. So thank you, Teresa. And Brett, thank you. You were my 6th grade TLC teacher. 7th. Was it 7th? Okay. Yeah. Middle school anyway. I try to block that out of my mind, but I really always
do, because it makes me feel old.
But I did always find refuge in your class. It was fun, but you also were a good teacher too, fun teacher. I'm grateful for your role up here too, and for throwing your hat in the ring. Being on the council is not easy. We put our names out there for good and for mostly bad, it seems. And so I'm grateful to you, Brett. Thank you for all you've taught me, and we'll miss you too. Thank you. As the mayor mentioned earlier, the mayor and I and Dave and Adam Cowie on the Forbay committee and Jill went up to Lehigh City Council meeting last night and presented them with the opportunity to hold the conservation easement for us And that was unanimously approved by Lehigh City Council, which is so great. They don't have a dog in the fight, and they can withhold any temptation of future councils to do something silly with 4-Bay. So I really do feel it's protected for a long time. And I'm thankful for the residents that came out to voice their support in that. We don't get to make many decisions where we could come back in 100 years and see something the same and even a little bit better than when we left it. And so for Payson City to have the opportunity to do that, thank you. Thanks to the staff and Jill and the 4-Bay committee for pushing that along. That was a huge victory. I'm still on a high from that win. I don't know if we'll ever do something that monumental, that exciting. So thank you. 4-Bay works because it has good volunteers. So please keep using it. Please keep loving it. Let's make it the best mountain biking, hiking, horse riding destination in the state of Utah. And it's protected now. And what a wonderful thing. We'll officially celebrate when we get that recorded with the county, but it's going to happen really soon. Merry Christmas to everyone. I love this time of year when we celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ. He was born, he did live, and he did die for us. And I'm thankful to live in an area where we value family and religion so very much. This time of year is special. I'm still waiting for some snow to really make it feel like Christmas. But thank you to all of the staff, all the Payson City residents. This place matters because we care about our families and because we celebrate Christmas. And I think it's such a great time of year to put everything aside and remember what's most important. And I do love this city, and I'm thankful to serve with everyone up here. And we'll look forward to next month when there's one new face and one familiar face up here added to the bench. And so thank you, everyone. That's all I have, Mayor.
Okay. I would like to add to what you said about Lehigh. I did make the statement last night as we turned it over to Lehigh, and Brian had said, well, we trust you guys. And so I got up and said, I trust you, but a little bit of trepidation. But we do trust Lehigh, and the official word that they used was a backstop for us, which I believe is very appropriate. And I told them I was in total support of this easement, and I'm glad we were able to do that. I would also like to thank Teresa. I didn't get to know you. I've known you for the last 8 years. Didn't know you prior. I would be the loser if I didn't get to know you. So I appreciate the opportunity I've had to work with you. Brett, I've known of you and your brothers and different family members. Your dad I've interacted with, but it's been a pleasure and an honor to work with you. As you say, you think outside the box. Sometimes that came out not quite the way you wanted, but there you go.
And it was never in the box. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So appreciate your input and the support that you've been to the city and this council. So, and also I would like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas as well. Okay, we'll go ahead and move on to E, action items. This is a resolution appointment of new 4-Bay committee members. Carl.
Thank you, Mayor and Council and public. The time has come for a rotation of members serving on the 4-Bay committee. Would like to publicly express a thank you to the outgoing members. We had Devin Weaver, and he was acting as our chair for the last year. Kevin Crook was our co-chair as well. Darsh Trotter served for the last year, and he replaced Kerry Pierce as he moved out of the city. And Kerry served the year prior to that, as well as some other terms. And then Allison Booth. All 4 of them served diligently, and I would like to give them a great thank you for their service on the 4-Bay committee. We had 10 applicants for the 4 positions, and we set up interviews with 8. The mayor, Jill Spencer, Development Services Director, Wes Barney, the Park Superintendent, and myself, Carl Tumont, the Community Services Director, interviewed them and have made recommendations to the mayor. So we'll turn the time over to them.
And those recommendations are that Kevin Cook was a previous member. We were more than happy to have him continue to be involved and be part of the committee. Also, the 3 others, Lindsay Fillerup, Art Troyer, and Matthew Earlywine.
And Art is here. I think Art's here.
Art.
So we appreciate him coming.
Thank you for being here, Art. Do we have any other members that are here?
I don't see any others.
Remind me how many members are on the 4 Bay committee?
Seven.
Seven. Very good.
Okay, council, so with that explanation, I would submit those 4 names: Kevin Cook, Lindsay Fillerup, Art Troyer, and Matthew Earlywine as the candidates for the 4 Bay Committee.
Right, why don't you do this?
I would like to approve those names for the appointment to the new 4 Bay committee.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion been seconded. We roll call vote, starting with Council Hyatt.
Yes.
Council Moss.
Yes.
Council Rowley.
Yes.
And Council Christensen.
Yes.
Okay, congratulations, Art.
Thank you for willing to serve.
Okay, moving on to ordinance zone change for High Creek Master Planned Area to RMF 10 multifamily residential zone. I won't bother with all the numbers. And then R17.5 residential zone. And Michael, if you're up.
Okay. I would just like to say thank you to Councilmember Hyatt and Christensen. Thank you for your service. We appreciate your time here. For what you tonight, we've got a few zone change requests. I'm going to do the one and then let you discuss and have any comments you want, and then we'll do the other one. But they're all in one presentation, so if you see other slides, it's because it's the next one. So I will share the first with you. So tonight, for this, the applicant's seeking these 2 things at the top: the RMF 10 multifamily residential zone and the R175 residential zone. Planning Commission held a public hearing on this last week. There was some public comment on this, and ultimately Planning Commission recommended approval of staff's recommendation, and we'll get into that in a little bit later. So
Can I make one note on that? Jill and Michael and Planning Commission peeps. I really wanted to absorb and get some of that information, and the meetings and the minutes are not posted in a timely manner, and so
right. Being that it was just last week.
Right, and so I'm curious what we can do because that Planning Commission recommends to the City Council, and for me that recommendation does hold a lot of weight, having served on the Planning Commission. But for us, I feel like sometimes we don't have the full picture of what Planning Commission discussed because we can't watch the video, we can't read the minutes. And so I'm curious, can we either speed up the turnaround time on that, which I know is hard, or can we, and I know this is hard for applicants too, can we spread this out longer between Planning Commission and when it's seen before the City Council? Because we can't absorb that information because it's not available yet. And so that's just my thoughts, and I leave it to greater minds than mine to figure that out. But that's just a thought and question I have: is how can we get this information in front of the mayor and council from Planning Commission? Because we really can't attend the meetings. Either we've been discouraged from doing that, and we can't be there every meeting anyway because of time constraints. So that's just a thought, not a critique, just a loving suggestion and thought. And I hope you guys can work together to find us a way to absorb that information. Thank you.
Okay, appreciate those comments. Go ahead, Mike.
Thank you. So tonight, City Council's role is there in red, and then if any approvals are granted, staff's role would be to do any site plan or subdivision. So to give you a little bit of area focus of where this is a Google map kind of zooming into the area. There's 2 areas in this request, so I'm breaking these Google Maps into 2. So the first one that you can see with the dashed red line is the request for the RMF 10. If you can see the St. Zena's Orthodox Church there. This is just south of the Red Bridge development that is begun with MTech and some of the other projects starting to go there. So that's the area, and it looks like it zoomed past for me. So this is the parcels that would be affected. You can see that this RMF 10 partially goes into the parcel to the south there. This is what the applicant's requesting for the RMF 10 multifamily residential zone. And those are the parcel names. I promise this was not supposed to advance on its own. So as you can see, these are the two sections that they're asking the request for. The first one that we've already zoomed in on is the RMF 10 with closest to the big blue arrow. And then the second one we'll talk about in just a moment. Here's a zoom in of the second one. Again, it's pretty close proximity, but a little bit further south to the last one. And it's supposed to have my, there we go. So this property right here. The applicant's requesting the R175 zone, which would be residential single family homes on 7,500 square foot lots. Already shown you this, but just letting you see it now because we've got both of the areas in which they're asking for the zone changes. So staff feels as if the first area that I showed you, the RMF 10 request, meets the South Meadows plan and is in favor of approval for that one. Staff feels as if the second area, the one that's requesting the R175, doesn't fully meet the intent of the South Meadows plan. And so staff would recommend an alternative request on that. And I will get to that right now. So staff would recommend the area instead be the R110 residential zone. This more closely matches the plan, which calls for 4 dwelling units to the acre. And so we felt as if that was more appropriate. So tonight, there's several things in which council can consider. They can consider the applicant's request as is. They could consider staff's alternative recommendation. You could do some other motions of any combination of those. You could deny, or you can table the request. And so that's the presentation for this portion. The applicant does have some slides if you're willing to see them. And I can bring those up if you would like to see those.
Let's go ahead and see those.
Do we know the approximate acreage of the two separate requests?
Not off the top of my head. The applicant could probably speak to that.
So this one that we're looking at right now is 10,000 square feet. Is that right?
It's like going backwards.
Yeah, and 10,000 square.
There we go.
Is that right, Michael?
I'm sorry.
Is it the 10,000 square feet?
So
yard?
he's going to speak about both of those.
Okay, but the one that the number one is 10,000 square.
Number one, the first area I showed you is for the multifamily, and that's the RMF 10.
Okay.
And then the second area I showed you, it's in this same request, but it's for the R110 is what
But it's
staff
a
is recommending.
separate development.
And Michael, sorry, Tyler, to keep holding you up, but Michael, and for the first one, you said it met the intent of the plan. Did it mirror the plan, or is it a slight adjustment from what the plan called for?
So the plan calls for 10 units to the acre.
Okay.
So we feel as if it meets that.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Go ahead.
Hey, Tyler Horan, Teresa and Brett, thanks for all you guys did. Yeah, I've met on you guys for a while. So, I just wanted to say before I kind of hop into the slides that, you know, the last time we were here, we were asking for like an increase in density in this area. And, you know, it just wasn't something, you know, the city was interested in. So we went back, you know, and just looked at the area plan, and this is our best attempt at, hey, this says 10 units per acre. This says 4 units per acre. We're just going to try to stick to that. So just wanted to say, you know, we did obviously hear your guys' feedback, and so we're trying to follow it. Yeah, so this is the map Michael already showed. It's probably worth mentioning, you know, we're not like looking to buy these. We already own these parcels and have bought them. So, the first one, the RMF 10, if you can see this, what's like grayed out is land that we already have the RMF 10 zone on and are in various stages of building those houses. The top stage, if you drive over there, we actually just finished all the development. So we're pretty excited. Just started doing our first house over there. So the area that we're looking to get a zone change on tonight, we didn't own that when we bought the first pieces, and so that's why we didn't ask for a zone change for the whole thing, because it was somebody else's property. So now we're just, I think like Michael said, we're just matching what the plan shows. And one reason we're really wanting to get this area approved and move forward is it's the area where we're planning on building our clubhouse, pool, 2 pickleball courts, and then we'll kind of connect. There's a regional trail that goes along the creek there. And, you know, as we develop south, the trail will just get longer as we keep developing. So those are some reasons why we're excited if we can get started on this next phase. That's what we anticipate the clubhouse is going to look like. Should be pretty nice.
Tyler, have you entered into a development agreement for these particular parcels with the city yet?
The other pieces that are approved, we have a development agreement on, but not this one.
Okay.
I think we just envision adding this piece to that development agreement and, you know, sharing all the amenities, if that makes sense. So like this clubhouse would serve not only this area that we're talking about tonight, but the other areas as well. So.
Okay.
And you're talking about the RMF 10 right now?
Yeah. Yeah. The north one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what, that's kind of the amenities we're looking at building, and pickleball courts as well. So I don't know if you guys had any questions about that one.
I guess the other question I have, what's the intent on the timeline of the amenities being built? That's always one of my heartburn areas with developments is you put all the houses, and then 10 years later they finally get what they were paying for at the HOA.
No, honestly, if we get this zoning approved tonight, we plan on submitting our preliminary plat like as soon as we possibly can, and then final, and then we're gonna start development on this phase as soon as we can. So if there's something we want to, you know, memorialize or something, we already have an agreement in our current development agreement that says we can't build more than, I think, 75 houses.
I can't remember what it says, but yes, the current development agreement for the 2 phases above this also incorporate this property, but it's identified as parcels because this property hasn't received any approvals yet. So it incorporates these parcels as part of that for the amenities, and it identifies a schedule of when those amenities would be put in.
And you guys are taking this parcel and just removing the current zoning designation and applying it to what the current plan calls for now, correct?
Yeah, it's zoned
Ag.
like agriculture holding right now. Like if this gives you an idea, our vertical team, like the people on our team that actually build the houses, they're pushing us to try to get this approved because they actually want to build the clubhouse as soon as we can. So
yeah, you've already got roads too.
Right? Yeah. So people, you can imagine, like, we're going to start selling houses, and you know, everybody asks us, when's the clubhouse going to be done? So
And so what we're doing here, we'll consider this as a separate zone change, and the second one as a separate zone change too.
Yeah,
Vote on them separate.
Yeah, I think you guys can do that.
Okay.
Is there any more questions on this?
Any questions? Okay, then realizing this, there are 2 different ones. This is not the Nebo one. This is a different one. Is there anyone that would, and please be mindful of your time. And if anyone would like to comment on this, please step forward and comment. It's not a public hearing, and so I'm going to limit it to a certain time period, but please get up, and if you have any statements you'd like to make, please do so.
And can I mention, I've never seen the mayor ever not allow someone to speak on an item, and I'm grateful for that. So thank you. While it might not be set here in stone on the paper, that the mayor always allows for what I feel is due process and First Amendment rights to speak. So
Okay. Not seeing anyone that wants to come up and comment on this particular one. Council, you have any thoughts, concerns, comments?
One of my concerns is, I just feel like we should table because we don't have all the information. We don't know what they were saying in the planning commission. I just think it'd be wise to table. That's all I'm gonna say.
yes, I don't know if I have the table concerns on this particular parcel right there, but I do share those concerns on Nebo Peaks for sure.
He'll come and talk to us.
I could comment if you
Okay,
wanted me
please.
to.
Yes.
Kurt Beecher, Chair of the Planning Commission.
Good.
So, on this particular one, we recommended to the city council that the zone as requested be approved. That was our recommendation. We felt it matched the area plan, and it fell in line with everything it was going to. On the other one, where it's R175, we recommended R110 as the staff indicated. And that was our recommendation as well, is that one be changed to R110.
Which thank you.
Felt that it better
Right.
met the requirements of the 4 units per acre.
I understand that part.
And then the developmental agreement, as was alluded, that developmental agreement would apply to the new area.
Can we make that part of our motion to incorporate the existing development agreement into?
We did as well.
Okay.
We made it that
That would make me feel
development
better.
agreement would be handled and meet the requirements of the same as the other.
And Tyler, just so you're aware, we're not trying to pick on you, but just know in this we learn some hard lessons sometimes, and we have had instances, and I know you would never do this, but we have had instances where we approved certain zoning and then we didn't enter into development agreement, and then double wide showed up on the parcels for sale as single family homes. And so just know we're a little ultra cautious about that now. And so that's
Not that
why
you would do that, but we just want
yeah,
to
we're
make
not
sure
yeah,
that we're not.
but want
gonna
to treat
allow
everybody
that
the
to happen
same,
again.
you know. So yeah, I guess for me, if this RMF 10 falls into the current plan, and is this still part of the Springside Meadow plan, or is this a different specific area plan?
Yeah, one thing I want to make sure is.
South Meadows. Thank you. Okay.
Is this staff okay with just extending that developmental agreement as recorded on this other part?
So we have the development agreement for those parcels just above where it says RMF 10.
Mm-hmm.
Just to the north.
Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, and on
Yes,
this one, can we
yes.
just scoot that development agreement to encompass
To
this
encompass
this
that?
parcel too? Is that something?
I think so, as long as you are comfortable with what was in that agreement.
That agreement called for the timely building of amenities.
That was
Yep.
one of the primary things.
Yes, which I think is important. So
Come on up, Bob. Yes, you can.
As a public,
Everyone else could, but not you.
Bob Proscard. So make the motion contingent upon amending the development agreement with specific item of the amenities would be, I think if I remember the original agreement, they could only reach 70 units or 75. Somebody help me.
I don't remember the number.
Before those had to be performed.
and that's what we're talking about, just to encompassing the
It need-
current development agreement to
Yeah,
this parcel.
It needs to be contingent upon that development agreement being signed and satisfactory to staff.
Yep.
What he said.
Yeah. Okay, Robert.
I don't want to be the fly in the ointment here, but exactly. So the way that this has been noticed is there are 2 requests in this one agenda item, right? And so we can't
We
separate.
can't piecemeal them.
We can't piecemeal
Okay.
those.
Okay.
So when you make your motion, you're going to be making a motion about both of these requests. So I think it would be prudent if we also talked about the R175 request
Let's
as
do that.
well, because that's going to be part of your motion.
Okay, we can't cut it up, huh?
You cannot cut it up.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, let me clarify that. I mean, you can cut it up and say, I mean, you can modify your motion, you can modify the request, and you can make whatever motion you want. Let me clarify that, because this is being recorded and people are watching. You can make any motion you want. But
I
there
agree.
are
I think
there are
that-
some specifics of what is being requested, and I think it would be prudent to talk about both of the requests of this particular
Okay.
agenda.
Michael, have you shared all that needs to be shared on the 175?
Yes, I've shared everything for this request.
Okay.
Can
Then-
you?
Then we'll.
Can we talk a little bit more about the other? I'm okay with the RMF 10.
I am as well.
The R1 7500. It seems like
With
those
the
might
amendment.
just be a little bit.
Well, we
With the contingency.
Well, but Planning Commission suggested we do that to R110. So
yeah,
which is different than the applicant is requesting at this time.
And I've got some more slides just on that to kind of.
Might as well if you're here. Yeah.
Well, let's move on to that. We know where we're at on the first one, so.
Mhm.
Okay. Haven't forgot about you, young lady. We'll get you in. Okay. I figured you would be.
And Tyler, while we're here on this one, do you have any conceptual designs of what architecture you'll be using for this area?
Yeah, we have them.
I mean, is it similar to what you built? I mean, because you guys already built some townhomes over there. What exactly are we looking at? Just tell us.
Yeah, I would say they're similar. I like them a little bit more. They have more brick. But those Spring Creek ones on the corner, I just want to be clear. We did build those vertically. We did not design that project. I know it's been a city
okay.
kind of nightmare. So we didn't.
That was one of the bait and switches that kind of has got us all a little bit squeamish, because that guy came in and we told him he had to have a parking lot, and he shortened every house 3 feet to get it, and it was just a number for him, and it was really frustrating. So
Yeah, we bought that project after it was approved and built it, and then so we just try to be clear that didn't design that. But yes, the exteriors are similar to those. They're updated because that was
2-story buildings.
Yeah, so on the north, what we already built, there are some 3-story and some 2-story. It's about a 50-50 split. But the feedback that we're getting right now is that people want 2-story more than 3-story in Payson. And so everything that we're doing down here on this, what we're asking for would be 2-story. Just because people would rather have a 2-story house than a 3-story house. So
Very good.
I agree on that one.
Okay, just so you're aware, I have taken some phone calls from folks that are totally good with the 10,000 square foot lots, but they're very concerned about the 7.5
okay.
lots. But go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna show. So, just a little bit of a little history, I guess. Like I said, we've bought different parcels over there. I mean, there's a lot of different landowners, so we've bought them, over the years. Each year, we've kind of bought different parcels, and the ground to the south that we're asking for the 7,500 square foot lots, we actually bought it about the same time that Payson updated your general plan. Not the area specific plan, but just like the whole city general plan. And one of the reasons we started looking at this ground is because on the general plan, it's identified as medium density, which is 7 to 10 units per acre. That I'm just sharing. That's why we started looking there. Like, okay, medium density is affordable. So we started looking there. We met with staff, and staff said, where we already have an area plan in this area, we want to follow that. If there's a difference between the general plan and the area plan, which there is here, they said we want to follow the area plan, which, I guess makes sense. But we originally thought it would be 7 to 10 units per acre. But the area plan, which is here, shows it being 4 units per acre. So to answer your question, Council Rowley, what we have right here that we're asking for a zone change on is just under 15 acres. It's, 14.5. So we figured if 4 units per acre, 15 acres, that's about 60 units. And this plan is pretty specific. It does define kind of how you calculate density. It says it's calculated on net density, and net density is your total acreage minus sensitive lands, wetlands, and existing roadways, which is, and on this piece, we do have a creek going through it, which is, a sensitive land. It may or may not be a wetland, but it's about 1/10 of an acre. So we have 14.4 acres, and we figured we can build 4 units per acre because anyway, that's what the plan shows. And so how we got to the R175 with a development agreement, this is what that would look like. They're all single family homes. They're all, detached. They're 7,500 square foot lots, but there's no attached housing here. There's no townhomes. Everybody would have their own yard. And this layout, if we were to build this, we still wouldn't be at 4 units per acre. This is about 3.8. So that's kind of how we got to why we're asking what we're asking for. Is the plan's pretty clear and specific and says, it's 4 units per acre. And here's how it's defined in the plan.
So, you got 1700 west, then I-15's on the right side of that, correct? Yeah. And then you'll have 2 separate exits out onto, is that 12,400? Or
no, this is to kind of show you, 12,400 is clear down south. We would just
okay, I'm too far.
Yeah.
I see. Yeah, so this is by the Christian Life Church.
Yeah, it's right next to that.
Okay. And
the west side of it does have the egress into that larger road, which is actually supposed to be the arterial road for that area, not the frontage road, which has kind of been bombarded. So the majority of the cars you would hope would go west and then out. But
I've just never seen a road get less busy by I-15. I think they'll use both roads adequately.
Yeah. So and I'm glad you guys brought this up. That's one reason. Obviously, we own a lot more acres here than what we're asking for. The reason we specifically identified this piece is because we really think it's important that road. Right now, it's a dead end road.
Mm-hmm.
There's an emergency access now that we put in there so fire trucks can get in and out if there's an emergency. But honestly, we really want to pave that and get all the utilities down there. So if we can move forward with this phase, that won't be a dead end road anymore, and we can build. Let me go back to this. This road would connect to the frontage road, so that that road's not going to be a dead end anymore. So that's how we got to where we're asking for. It's still under 4 units per acre. We did do another layout. Show this one. This is if we did like 10,000 square foot lots. Sorry, I know it's kind of hard to see, but the density that we would get is 2.6, which is, for us, it makes it makes a big difference. There's almost 20 fewer homes there. And I don't know, like at the end of the day, if we can build the almost 4 units per acre, that's just more single family homes, which a lot of cities are interested in right now. I feel like, each one would be big enough. They can have a 2-car garage, maybe even a 3-car garage, 25-foot driveway. So
could you go back to the other map?
Yeah, toggle back and forth for just a second so we can look at that.
Yeah.
So this is the one that you're wanting approval on.
Yeah. Well, so I don't want to get too super in the weeds. This one is, if we were to just do R175, this is what it would look like. Mm-hmm. What we originally proposed was R175 with a development agreement that would let us do, instead of having 75 feet of frontage, we would do 65 feet of frontage. And the lots would be 6,500 square feet instead of 7,500 square feet. If we can do that, we can build 3.8 units per acre. If we get a R175 without a development agreement that lets us build 6,500 square foot lots, then we can do 3.15 units per acre. That's why we had this laid out, to just show that we have actually, gone through the work of figuring out this is exactly how many houses we could build, just depending on
Yeah.
what gets approved.
So the request for approval, is it for the 45 lots or the 39 lots?
So what we currently have
57.
submitted.
Oh, that
if-
one's 57, not 45.
Yeah, it would be 57.
Those are deceiving because this one looks less dense than the other one.
But it's not when you look at the numbers for sure.
Yeah,
It's like that middle
this one's
island.
more dense.
I mean, I like your straight roads for the most part. I mean, they're pretty dang straight. So I do appreciate that. Thank you for not getting too fancy with the roads. Let's tell you where I'm at with this one, Tyler. I'm totally in favor of the first request. It falls in line with our current plan. Proximity to I-15 makes sense. Obviously, everything down here, the choke point is still that darn bridge by Wendy's. It's just such a burr in our saddle. And Councillor Moss, was good to bring that up and remind UDOT about it. And this is really close to I-15 again. This one is. I know that. But we are surrounding some existing homes that are 5 1/4 acre lots, and we are starting to transition into West Mountain area. And so, for me, I'm pretty hyper cautious about this because what we do here sets the precedence of what the next landowner wants to do and what the next one wants to do. And with this one and with the other one we'll be discussing tonight, darn it, the harsh reality is things are going to change for all of us. And I am probably the only one in the room that's full-time farmer. And so this does impact me more than it could others. But we can only control our neighbors' lands if we own it, right? But I think to be good stewards and set the precedents, I guess for me, I'm leaning to agree more with Planning Commission that this one go to 10. And if we don't have a development agreement on this one and staff is a little skittish on this one, maybe it is better to table this too. But that's where I'm at right now.
Council, are you okay if I have this young lady come up and express her?
Can I just?
She's.
Well, no, this is we're
This
talking
is the
about the
second
Nebo.
No, this is still Hyatt.
This,
Oh,
So this is still Hyatt Creek.
Is this still Hyatt Creek?
It is. Yep.
Oh,
so,
okay.
So I'm wondering if we
Yeah,
took the
well,
difference
yep.
between 7.5 and 10. Split the cow.
Yeah, I get, like, for me,
I mean, does it have to be 0.75 or 10? Could we go in the middle of that, like maybe 85?
Can we see
or even 9?
the map of what it would look like with 10? You showed the. See, that's a beautiful thing. I see some lot sizes that are 0.26, 0.23.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
it's
Sorry,
a
Teresa.
good point. And maybe I would emphasize that. Like, if you do a R110, that doesn't mean there's not bigger lots than that. That just means the absolute smallest you can do is 10,000. So on this layout, just based on reality of the property lines and the roads, we have every lot is bigger than 10,000. And the same thing if you do R175, that just means the minimum is 75. There are lots that are up to 10,000 on the R175. So it's not, I don't know if that makes any sense, but there is a range of lots that you end up with just because every property is not a perfect square. So,
Well, I agree with Councilman Rowley. We need to stay true to our plan, but also with all the big lots out there and stuff, these are all neighbors. I think the bigger lots stay truer to the feeling out there. It's better for our neighborhoods, better for our traffic, better for everything, and it looks better. It's not as crowded.
And this is still a monumental change. I grew up.
Yeah.
I drove on this road every day of my life for 33 years, and so even this is more homes than there's already out there altogether. So this is just a mind blowing change for all of us, right? But I really want that west side to stay special and different, and
Well,
even sadly enough, this is different than what we're doing in a lot of places. This seems big, which is sad, but it's the truth.
I gotta say,
I told the family that I talked to that I would be their advocate as best as I could, that they felt very comfortable with 10,000 square foot yards, lots, but did not like the 7,500.
I guess for me, and I gotta say, I am bad at confrontation, right? This is not easy for me, but I always try to dial things back to just, this is very controversial, and this is the business we're in. We build houses, so it's my job. But for me, I don't know. Obviously, maybe I'm biased, but this can be broke down to a numbers thing. We've done the work. The plan says 4 units per acre. We're less than 4 units per acre if we get what we're asking for. If we do the 10,000, it's like substantially less than the plan. So it's,
But that's talking gross density, correct? And but didn't
even net,
even net,
the
huh?
way that net is defined in this plan, it is super specific. It says that your total acreage minus wetlands, sensitive lands, and existing roads. And our parcels, they're not, this one is not full of wetlands and big existing roads. It does have the river right at the frontage, but it's a very small piece. So that's where for me it's just, I don't know. We were asking for a change before. We were asking for more. Now we're just, we're asking for even what's on the plan. And if we do 10,000, it just is substantially less than what's on the plan. So I don't know. That's
Michael, could you let us know what staff feels?
Can you put the one up there, the one that you actually want approved, Tyler, so that I know which one I'm looking at? I see all these. I'm like, well, this doesn't look bad. This one's not.
No, I don't like it.
This one doesn't have the square footage on it like the other.
Yeah,
one.
the other.
Well, it does. There's really. Oh no,
But
you're
it's
right.
it just looks so dense and so crowded and
But you got to understand,
really
it is right
long.
by the freeway.
That's okay.
You're going to have people.
throw a rock and hit the freeway.
I know, but what I'm saying
Yeah.
is, I don't feel that you need the bigger houses by the freeway. The bigger houses are going to go farther west.
Well, that'd be up to the people who buy them.
I know, but
Teresa makes a good point, and I would say there are other areas of this plan that go to 3 and 2 units per acre. So this area is 4, and there are other, in it. If you go to 2
go
or
farther
3,
west,
then that does make sense because that is how many units you can build.
And I didn't want to cut you off, but what were you saying, Councilor Hyatt, about splitting the cow? What size of lots were you thinking?
well, I was thinking anywhere. Like I said, I'm okay with a 4,000 square foot lot, but it's just straight up and you only have 10 feet between you. 75 to me is still a pretty big lot. It really is, because you still have that in front of you. And it's like he said, they all wouldn't be that way. They're all different size lots.
Not a ton different. Like they would
Well,
look extremely similar.
I would like to see how big the lots really are.
Look how skinny that guy is. Like you got the nice square ones on the edge here, and then you got the real long skinny one.
Well, the edge ones are always going to be bigger.
Right.
You know that, Ryan.
If it would help, I did also include, because I saw some staff told us that it is important to show the kinds of houses that we would build. We would envision building all different sizes of houses on, like, if we got what we're asking for, there would be, these are the actual renderings of what we're building right now and what we would like to build.
Yeah, I quite like the top 2 for this area. I think the bottom 2 have their place, but I feel like
More
West
contemporary.
Mountain, west of the freeway, we go for a little more of a farmhouse kind of style myself. That's just
Contemporary
me.
butterfly roofs.
So
For what it's worth, I agree.
How wide is that one? The
With
number
the
one up
with
in the
the
corner?
the third car garage.
The top left?
Left.
Yes.
I don't know.
Do you know the approximate square footage of that home, livable space?
Yeah.
I
can
know
find
those are
out
hard
really
number.
quick,
I
sorry.
know. These are random questions. I know.
Jill, did you want to?
Okay, so how
It looks
wide
bigger
is
than
it?
it really is.
Please address us, Jill.
Okay.
Give us some guidance.
We've gotten into site plan review.
Yeah.
And my recommendation would be, the applicant has provided some information tonight that staff has not been able to thoroughly review. Based on the discussion of the city council, there is additional information that you would need in order to make a good decision on whether it's R110, R175. Again, applicant has brought up new information, shared it with staff earlier today. We just didn't have a chance to review it. I would suggest that if you are not comfortable with making a decision on the R175 or the R110 that staff is proposing, that you remand it back to staff or table the item. We could further analyze the information the applicant, because he has taken a lot of time to put these site plans together and the housing product. And that could be something that staff could evaluate our recommendation on to see if it is consistent with the plan. And then also discuss the development agreement. As the applicant had mentioned earlier, they would be willing to even consider maybe an amendment to that existing development agreement to maybe address the concerns that you have. Tabling it would give us an opportunity to sit down with the applicant and understand the comfort level that they have with maybe putting those things in a development agreement. But once again, it'd give us more time to review and give you better information for you to make that decision.
I think
I
that's
don't
some,
know how Tyler
Thanks.
feels about that.
I think that's some
I think
wise
we're getting
advice.
in that area of now discussing a development layout, which is important, but not at this point of the process.
Thank you, Jill.
Tyler, if you want to-
Thanks, Jill.
Yeah, we'll definitely go back on this and work with staff more and, come up with a better proposal or get more comfortable. The one thing I would ask, I was pretty sincere, like, we do want to move forward on the north piece. And you can include the language count, or Bob suggested that, the north one's contingent on us changing the development agreement to allow us to move forward on that. And if we table this one, it makes sense to me that there's more to talk about, but I would just ask we can.
I'll just ask one quick question here, because we could go ahead and approve it the way that we've talked about for the one. I think we're pretty well agreeing on the RMF 10 where it's at. This other one, we probably could get enough votes here to carry it at an RF1, R1 10 versus an R1 7.5. But to get that 7.5, we're probably going to have to table it and come back with a little bit more of an agreement, something maybe on paper that says what the product's going to look like, where we're at, things like that, flow of the roads. Do you want us to table it or go with the R110 would be the real question.
Well, and even with the R110, we need a little bit more information on that one too.
So I would
wouldn't-
say we do the first one and then table the other
We
one.
can't. We have to do them both together.
I know we do, but
Can we not just approve the certain parcels requested
And deny the other one.
and deny
Yeah.
and table the other parcel?
table the other parcel? Where did she head to?
Yeah, where did Jill go?
So you need to make a singular motion, but you could make a motion of, say, approval on the RMF 10 and table the RMF or the R175 portion.
Yes.
Okay.
All in one.
All in one motion.
Okay.
Brandon, Jill, what is your comfort level? Be honest, please.
Yeah, you'd have to sign it tomorrow, Mayor. They approve it that way.
Then I could sign it tomorrow. Yeah.
Tyler, I know we want to get this done, and this one does conform, but it sounds like since these ones are lumped together, it does create a little bit of a headache and a concern for our staff, and so perhaps we do need to table the entire request for now, but also put the burr and staff saddle to say let's get this real fast for Tyler. He's been so patient and so good presenting this one to us. But what do you guys think?
Yeah, I think so too.
I'd give my opinion, but it's not going to matter next time.
I don't mind either.
But it does this time.
It does this time. I agree, but I think that tabling it, if I'm pretty confident that the first portion of that would pass with the council that we have now, but with the other one, I can't make that guarantee from here. So that's my concern. But
it would.
I think we should table it and get all those ducks in a row.
Remand back to staff for more information and all the
We'll
other
go with
stuff.
that. All right.
And we'll try to
Can
go
I make
fast.
that motion,
Make,
Mayor?
make that motion.
I make a motion that we table the ordinance for the zone change for Hyatt Creek Master Plan area to RMF 10 multifamily residential zone and R1 7.5 residential zone with the plot numbers listed for a later date.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion been seconded. The roll call vote starting with Council Christensen.
Yes.
Council Rowley.
Yes.
Council Moss.
Yes.
Council Hart.
Yes.
Okay, that motion carries. Is that
Yeah, what's the next thing?
Sorry, guys.
Talk about the next one.
Would the best thing have been to do that in two separate things?
We can't,
No, but would that have been the best thing for him to do, is do it in two separate?
his request came into us in one, that's why we did it that way.
But it probably would have been better to do it in two, right? Yeah, okay. I just wanted,
Okay, what's the next one, Michael? Okay.
So these are the zone change requests in the Nebo Peaks that they're asking for, is these four. RMF 10 with a willful reduction down to the 8 dwelling units per acre. That would conform with the Spring Creek plan. The R110 residential zone, R19 residential zone, and the R175. Planning Commission gave a positive recommendation for approval on all of these except for the R175, where they felt it should be R19, and I'll show you the map to show you that. Again, council's role is to potentially approve or deny the request. Staff role process, application, and site plan. So to give you an idea, so these are all the parcels associated with this zone change. And I just change it here so you can see it. So all of those highlighted.
And I have looked at this one. It's about 113 acres. Just so everybody.
So this is the breakdown of what the applicant's requesting for those parcels. You can see the R110 at the bottom, the RMF 10 with the reduction to 8 units per acre in the center, the R175 just above that, and the R19 at the bottom. This is the Spring Creek plan. You can see the area kind of outlined in blue. Staff feels as if the majority of this conforms to the Spring Creek plan. You can see the areas in yellow on the plan says low density residential up to 4 units per acre. Staff's interpreting that in the range of 9,000 to 10,000 square foot lots. And so that's why staff had a little bit of a different recommendation than what the applicant requested. So as I said before, staff and planning commission both agreed with everything in here except for the R175 request. But staff also wanted to point out that he felt as if there is some value in transitioning from the 8 units to the acre to the R19. Now, whether or not that transition were to happen in the RMF zone or whether it happened outside of that zone, that would be left to interpretation. Staff feels as if it could happen in the RMF zone with not just having it all townhomes, but maybe there could be some twin homes in there. Maybe there could be some smaller single family lots in there. The RMF zone allows for 6,500 square foot single family homes or single family home lots. So we felt as if the RMF zone could incorporate some of this transition to the R19. And that's why we didn't want to give a recommendation for the R175 in the area that was immediately to the north, where they're requesting the R175. Staff's recommendation would be both of those sections be up. I'll continue on so that you can see that better later. So this is what staff recommends, with the idea that land use transitions would go from the RMF 10 reducing so that they match more closely to R1. Oh, I just talk loud enough to myself. That's the majority.
So you have to say everything all over again. I'm just kidding.
What I said before. So this is what staff is bringing toward you tonight as a recommendation. However, there is the development agreement that we've been working with the applicant on this area. Part of that we feel would be necessary because the RMF 10 would need to have that reduction down to the 8 units to the acre to be memorialized somehow. But others, we just felt as if it would be useful to identify those things that are both important to us and to the applicant. So,
and we currently don't have a development agreement on this.
We have a draft we sent to the applicant. They just sent it back to us. When was it, Brandon? Yesterday? This morning?
So we still need some time to review that.
So staff has not looked at it thoroughly.
Okay, very good.
So we feel comfortable in coming to an agreement, but we're not there yet.
Okay.
So Jill, do you guys need more time to review this one as well? That would be helpful. Okay.
And for us on city council, I think it's so good and important to do this in a little bit timely, slower manner than I know some people would like. And the reason being because this is our last touch point with a parcel of land. We don't have much input in the subdivision process from here on out. So this is really the last point where we can make the lasting decisions on what our neighborhoods and streets look like. And so I feel it would be prudent and wise to have a development agreement in place so we know exactly what you're requesting, what we feel comfortable with, and what we don't feel comfortable with.
Okay, if they're comfortable, now is your time, if you want.
Also, while she's walking up,
I was going to say something while she's walking
I'm
up,
so
but
sorry.
go ahead.
Okay.
We can stop before.
I know, she's
we'll
already
let
up there
you
now.
go after she goes.
No, you're
Go
fine.
ahead.
With all of this future growth happening, I just keep coming back to the 800 South interchange and what a nightmare that's going to be. And so that's one of the reasons we have to do this right, and having less density would be also wise and more safe, because you guys all heard Eric from UDOT, right? Say it's not on the books yet. It's not on the plans. It's not, they don't have the money. So that overpass and those on ramps and off ramps are not going to be touched for years. And that is dangerous.
The other issue, most of these people would actually probably shoot up Utah Avenue and do the main street, but
that's a residential.
The intersection by the Hewish where Dalton's used to be
is going to be even worse too.
Okay, Brett, go ahead.
Yes, I hate that the state forces us to burn down the bridge before they'll rebuild it, and that's kind of where we're at, and that's what this is all about.
Force us to grow.
I'm just looking at that, wondering if that RMF 10 and that R19, if we just put that R1 7.5, just put a sliver of that through the section there,
like in between.
Yeah, just so that there is that step transition with the actual zoning. I mean that it's we're talking about doing it, but if we just drew it in there, then it kind of sets it in stone, and then if something unforeseeable happens to Whitehorse and they sell the property, then we're not dealing with other developers that would have that problem.
So you can, that's what I was trying to explain. In this
Yeah.
RMF 10, you can actually have single family homes in there. You can have twin homes in there, that sort of thing. So you could do some of that transition in the RMF, but if you want to, yes, there could be that sliver
we
of the
could
R1.
yeah.
So
Just
maybe
food
if
for
this
thought.
goes back to staff, give us a couple of.
Okay. Let's let this young lady.
Yes, we're excited to hear.
I'm
Sorry, I
just,
called
I'm
you a
spinning
pain, but-
twirling back here. It's fine.
Go ahead, your turn.
So again, my name is Jackie Larson. I serve on the board of Utah County Farm Bureau, and I was called by several people who live out there. We also farm right through here as well. So a couple things that I wanted to point out though was that while this request might align, I guess, somewhat with the future planning concept shown on a map, they wanted me to make a point clear that a general plan and a site-specific plan is not the same as established zoning, and it does not override the realities on the ground today. So much of this ground is still zoned as agriculture or RA5 in the county, and it doesn't blend with the existing community, and it's premature given the conditions of current infrastructure today. So my first concern, which was mentioned by you guys, was that the road safety and traffic, so adding density of the scale, is going to increase the population and the vehicle chips in the area that already has very limited road capacity and dangerous conditions. So there has not been a funded and enforceable plan for the east-west road that would link that to I-15 with crossing over Union Pacific, which is another hurdle, and then also having to take property from another property owner. So I understand that also part of the hesitation might be that developer doesn't want to pay for those improvements, but it doesn't make those impacts go away. So it simply just shifts the burden to the public. So I also personally have experience with this exact situation in Spanish Fork with the exact same developer. Roads were not improved when they should have been. Conditions became unsafe for the community. And eventually the city had to go to MAG to seek funding for road improvements. And that money came from us taxpayers. So that was to fix a problem that was created by approving a development plan before the infrastructure was in place. So second, to speak briefly from personal experience of living and farming right next to large scale development. The impacts are real and they are predictable. So we have experienced trespassing, property damage tied directly to an adjacent development. We have had our cattle pens taken apart. We've had vehicles abandoned on our property. We've had gate removed from the hinges and our livestock intentionally let out on the road. We've had our fences cut. We've had garbage dumped into the slough, and we've had windows smashed out of our tractors. So these aren't just hypothetical concerns, and this is what happens when incompatible development does come right on top of you when it's not there yet. So I would just ask that you guys please not approve this today. Think of people who are already there now. I'm not saying no, not ever. It's just premature as it is right now. Thanks, guys.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that.
So I was not, I'm sorry, I stepped away. Is this not what the plan is out there?
So that's what we've been.
But not quite it's the R1.
So this is the plan out there. Staff feels as if it matches it fairly closely, with the exception that we feel as if the R19 would be more appropriate opposed to the R175. So that area in blue is what they're requesting R175, and staff was recommending.
Blue. Yeah.
Just that, yeah.
Oh, right there.
Yeah. So they're requesting the R175, and staff's recommending the R19, and then we feel like that's much more in line with what the plan says. But otherwise, yes, it does.
So it doesn't meet what's supposed to be out there.
It does, yes.
So how do we change it when we've already made it? Like it's already there.
No, this is a change.
This is a change.
Well, this is a change from what's currently there, but
well, yeah, it's
the plan, the requests that they're putting in would be starting to help realize this plan.
Okay.
Well, just look at this map right here, going back to the traffic problem. You can see that 200 South goes up along the freeway and then to Utah Avenue. And I want to remind us all that and I can't remember how many years ago, if people go on Utah Avenue, it goes right next to an elementary school where kids will be walking.
Okay.
And there was already a child killed there.
With?
Wasn't it a child?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, along Utah Avenue, like a few years ago. There was somebody.
There was that one girl.
There was.
And they went around the corner really fast.
Was it? Brad, wasn't there a child killed? Yeah, there was.
Well, so to me, I think
it was
most
on
people
Utah Avenue.
Would turn there by Liberty Safe, head that way and go up, which it's the truck route. That's how I figured they would probably get out of there, because that's how I get out of there.
Well, this plan shown right here has all the problems solved in it. It's just like she was saying, we've got to figure out how to get those roads in there that need to be in there in advance. And as it is right now, Whitehorse has a couple of major roads that go through them. I know that the one, when you look at the map, looks like the one that goes in front of the church is this nice big wide road, and it is horrible. It's like 8 feet wide, I swear. And so it's not going to carry the people out. So it just needs to make sure that we've got a way to get that traffic out of this big of a subdivision. Those main north-south roads need to be put in there to 200 South or whatever it ends up being. But
so Brad, there
sounds like that we need more time.
I think so too.
This
but
one does.
I want to clarify,
this one's a table one.
Chief Bishop, there was a child killed on Utah Avenue next to that elementary school a few years ago, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Yes.
How long ago was it, Chief?
It was on 600 West on Utah Avenue. And if that's where the traffic is going, that's a straight road, they would not care how fast they're going.
I think
So
the
I
school
think-
zone and police enforcement will definitely help.
I hope, you would think.
I think I
But-
use that road 5-6 times a day, and I feel that the majority of people do.
Yes.
We've got that
follow
great
the
crossing
rules.
guard that waves to everybody. I love her.
Yes.
I think we've really had a good discussion on this. It sounds like to me that the council would like to have some more time. We can bring that back to staff.
Yeah.
Does that sound?
Yeah.
Well, obviously staff needs more time.
And that's
We
true.
want to we want staff to look at the development agreement and come up with further recommendations and ideas for us to review. This is an important piece of ground. This is something that transitions into the bigger lots into West Mountain. And again, what we do here sets a precedence for the following parcels. And I know these people never think they're going to sell, but one day they will. And their kids and grandkids are going to want the most amount of density they can to get the most amount of money. And we want to have a good plan and a good precedence in place to ensure that it's not just a land grab, but it's thoughtful. And this area, the needs of the roads are just not there yet. But to developers, we do want you here. We want to be good partners with Payson. I do approve of the product that you build. I think it's good quality, and I think you guys could use this as a showcase piece of land to show future landowners of what you can do with their land and with their dreams. And I hope it's big lots, nice houses, and a mix of good roads and housing.
I agree.
Good. Is there a motion that someone would like to make?
Mayor, I motion that we table ordinance zone change for Nebo Peaks and so on. Do I have to say the whole thing?
Yes, no, not and
And
plus all the
included
numbers.
parcels.
Including
Yeah.
all the RMF 10 multifamily residential zone, a portion of parcel something, R175, and a portion of that parcel on all of those. Seriously?
Yeah, you
I
can just
motion
say
that we
you can
table
just say item
number
3.
3.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion been seconded. Roll call vote starting with Council Hyatt.
I'm gonna say no, just because if it goes along with the plan out there, I think we just need to
But
go along with the
can
plan.
I seek clarification, Council Hyde? This does not go exactly along with the plan. It changes one zone, does it not? It changes the density.
So
Yeah, sorry.
We've already discussed it. Council Moss?
Yes.
Council Rowley?
Yes.
Council Christian?
Yes.
Okay, the motion carries. Now, what do you want to go ahead?
No, we can
Yeah,
we
now
can
it's back to staff.
beat this horse to death a different night. Yeah.
The horse died.
Yeah.
I think it did.
Okay, moving on to number 4,
Getting
resolution
hot here.
adoption of the 2006 Wildland Interface Code as the official wildlife hazard mitigation and development standard for designated wildlife urban interface.
your mic isn't on.
Sorry. Here, I'll do it. Resolution, adoption of the 2006 Wildland Interface Code as the official wildlife hazard mitigation, wildfire hazard mitigation and development standards for the designated wildland urban interface areas within Payson City. Okay. Okay, Chief.
All right. Oh, sorry. One more button. Sorry. Mayor and Council, there, as you know, with a lot of changes that are occurring throughout the state, one of them that went through the legislature last year was House Bill 48. It was one of those bills that went through. Not a lot of people heard about it or knew about it with the financial costs that are associated with it. There are states really working to get everything put together. But just so you know, just give you a little history, we do have a wildland urban interface ordinance now. We have the zone, we have the boundaries. We're using the exact same boundaries. But just to know, we've had it in place for a long time, almost, well, longer than 25 years, probably closer to 30. At the time, there wasn't a wildland urban interface code. We all made our own, all the cities did. And so that's what we've used for quite a while. The background associated with this is for a long time, when you had a wildland fire, whether it was county, state, federal, everybody got to pay proportionate shares, but there was an insurance fund that the state and counties participate in, and cities weren't allowed. So cities had to pay. So if you had the fire like they had the Buckley Draw fire here this year with Provo City would have been paying millions. A couple of years ago, the state changed that, and actually been a little bit longer than a couple of years, but they have this cooperative wildfire system that we all participate in. And so what that is, they evaluate our city, the entire city, and they come up with a cost of what we need to work on and mitigate throughout our community. And this year, we're just under $4,200. Sometimes it's been as close $8,000, $10,000 every year. It fluctuates. The nice thing about that is if we have a fire that starts on P Mountain or any of the areas in the city and it goes into any other ground or even federal, that fire is paid for. We don't have to pay anything. Where if we weren't part of that, if we had a fire in the city and it got into federal grounds, would be responsible for that fire, and it can be in the millions. So this is why the state has finally said we want to get everybody on the same page. We saw some of the wildfires throughout the history of the United States. The last was with the Palisades fire in California. With that, we put together a 5-year plan, and then we have a yearly plan that we work on in projects. We're trying to do mitigation. We can use money from cleaning up like Hollow Park or Payson Canyon Park, or we can use funds that we've used, for example, to purchase a brush truck. We can amortize that over 5 years to use so much money towards that. Sorry. So the House Bill 48 requires us as a city, and we can say, yeah, we're not going to adopt it. We can, but then we'll be out of the CWS system. And then if we have a fire, we're going to be paying our proportionate share, which would not be a good thing. So we have to adopt this 2006 Utah WUI code by January 1st. Use the map that we have provided is the same map that we've been using. We have to enforce the WUI code within those boundaries. We've been enforcing our ordinance, working with people on it. And I think we have a good relationship with the people who built in those areas over the last 25, 30 years. The other thing is we assist with lot assessments, but that's not something the city goes out and just does. The homeowners have to request that.
So just to back that up one side here real quick. Hey, kind of getting bits and pieces of this everywhere, all over.
Yeah.
So the WI code that you have, the boundaries, you have maps that are set up. If we land within those maps, boundaries, we can say, hey, we need you to come reevaluate, and you'll come out and we can do it, and you can tell us what we need to fix to get outside of that.
No,
or...
what we can do is we can do assessment on your property, your home, the property, and tell you on a score, kind of triaging your home to say this is what your rating is. The problem we have is I can come out and do a score on your property now. Lynn from Provo can go do it, or Scott from Park City can go do it. We're all going to do something different. The state's really behind on this. They're trying to get everything put together so that as we go out and assess these homes, whether it be me from the city or somebody from the county or the state, we have everybody on the same playing field, the same scorecard that we're scoring every property in the state on. They have not got that put together yet.
Okay.
So
are we going to, this in turn will assess a bill or a fine levied against these homes?
Yeah. So
non-compliance.
In your next tax assessment in 2026, you're going to be assessed a tax depending on your home, the size of it, the property, and then if you don't do anything, you just pay that tax and you're done. Or you can say, hey, I want you to come assess my home and see what we can do to reduce our score and hopefully save us some money.
Okay. Now, is this just specific areas? Is this up against our national forest?
Yes.
Is this?
Well, I'll show you. We're
where the map shows? Yep. Okay.
So it's only homes in the WUI.
Only homes in the WUI. So in the larger part of Payson City, no one's going to be affected at all. If you're not in the WUI, there's no fines or anything. It's not even a fine. It's a tax.
Yeah.
They will not be assessed. So if you live like around the city center, there is nothing.
Okay.
Even though their map may show something, but if you're not in the WUI area, there's nothing. Okay. Whoop. So the other thing is they're looking at the high and very high risk areas only. So the information we've been given so far is the 2026, 2027 can go anywhere from $20 up to $100 per structure. With that, moving on at 2028 and forward, it'll be based on the cost of the program and the evaluation of your home. And like we said, it only works in the WUI areas. And so if you're not part of that WUI area, it won't apply.
So it's only $100 right now, but 2028, it could be thousands of dollars.
I don't know if there'll be thousands, but it could be hundreds. It just depends on what the state comes up with. We don't set anything on this on the tax. It's done at the county and state level.
But
we have no input or say on it.
as I understand it, there's going to have to be some tweaks made to this
Yes.
law.
Oh yeah,
anyhow.
they've got to make some changes to this because right now it's all associated with the county and the state. All the city was said, wait a minute, you're not going to come assess our residents in our city. We're going to do our own thing, but there's not a path for us to use any of that money.
So, Chief, why are we entering into this now when things could very easily be changed at the state level and we have to start from scratch?
State law says so.
State law says it has to be adopted by December
January
31st.
Okay.
Yeah, but we know that we know the map's going to change. They're supposed to have the updated map done by January 1st. We know within a year or two they're going to update to a new WUI code because the 2006 is pretty old.
Yeah.
And so when we look at the fire code, the building code, we're using the 2021 code, and this next year we're switching to 2024. So you can see how far behind it is. But that's what the state's having everybody adopt throughout the state.
And if and once we're in this program, a homeowner that lives in the WUI will be automatically opted into this different tax bracket, this different fee schedule.
Yep.
And then they will have to seek out a fire marshal, fire chief, whoever to come assess the home, and then they could have those reduced if they take the necessary measures.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
And
I don't love it, but I understand it.
No, we don't either. And it's a little frustrating because we've been working on this for a year. We thought that we'd have a lot of stuff in place for the fire departments to be able to start getting trained and up to speed on that stuff. It's going to be in the spring before they say they'll have it ready to do the training for all those people that go out and do the assessments.
So the state law says we have to do this by the 31st.
If you want to be part of that program. If we don't, then we can just say we're not going to do it.
And if we're not, but then we're on the hook for any wildfire that starts.
Yeah. And that's a lot of money.
Catches fire and it spreads into federal land. Payson City has to pay for it.
Yeah.
You have a lot of houses. I mean, do you have a map of where that's
Yes, yes, just coming up. So there's a lot of things they're trying to do as they're working on that, trying to get everything up to speed. But a couple other things, just this 2006 WUI code is part of the International Code Council. So it's the same codes as our fire code, building code, gas code, plumbing code. Same verbiage that we adopt with enforcement authority permits. This one has about a dozen. In the fire code, I have 80 permits or more I could enforce on the residents. We do one or two. So there's not a lot we're changing or we will change with what we're doing here. But again, this is a minimum code. We can't reduce it. Just like the fire code is a minimum code. We can make it more restrictive, but we can't make it less restrictive. With that,
And
do
you have intentions to make it more restrictive, Chief?
No,
than what it is?
I don't intend to make it any more restrictive than what we've done so far.
Okay.
Yeah. For example, there was a comment on the gentleman's letter about, in there it talks about if they do more than 25% of the roof, we can make them redo their entire roof. We're not going to do that. If somebody's going to redo the entire roof, then we'll look at that option. But just because people are doing maintenance repair, we're not going to do that. It doesn't apply to anybody that's existing with their homes now. If they went in and added and doubled their home size, yeah, it would apply to them. But if they're not doing anything to their homes, this would not apply to any existing
So they're grandfathered in. This would not affect existing structures unless they dramatically change the footprint of that structure.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
Very good.
Yes. So it'll just be with the new agreement. But this is the map. It pretty much follows the Highline Canal all the way, everything up to the south, around to the golf course. But it does include the Hollow Park, which is down below the Highline Canal. But we include that in there because we use some of that area as our in-kind services for cleaning vegetation and fall and things like that. Between the Hollow Park and Payson Canyon Park, we get a lot of our in-kind services. But you can see there, so the one that's affected the most is really the Riley area or the Patterson development. That's really the biggest area that's going to be affected by this code. And when you look at our footprint, it's pretty small compared to a lot of cities. Provo has some pretty good areas, but Santaquin has a lot in their area. I mean,
That's because most of the land in the middle is county property. Is that right? So we don't have to...
that sliver there is Forest Service.
Oh, Forest Service. Okay.
Yep. Yep, right down through the middle. And then some of it is county and private, yes.
Does this apply to homeowners that live outside of Payson boundaries but are covered by Payson Fire Department?
Yes, but that will be enforced by Utah County.
Be enforced by Utah County. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, so we'll still cover all the same areas in our city, outside of our city, but we're only working with the residents inside of our city. But we'll still protect everybody around us. So with that, that's the map, that's the code. We just need to be able to do the adoption of those.
So we have to adopt the resolution and then the ordinance.
Yes, we adopt the resolution and then we have to do the ordinance because that will show the language in the in our actual ordinance. And with the ordinance, so the green that you had in your packets is the area that we're adopting with our ordinance. And it's going to be pretty much the same language we use, the same thing for enforcement and everything else. It's a Class B misdemeanor with the fire code, building code. It's the same thing with this. We rarely have any issues with any of our residents. We're not out looking to cite them or charge them. We always have a pretty good relationship working with our residents. The last part of the document, the very last page, there's no changes other than we just had to swap the wording around so it matched everything else in the ordinance, because in the back part it had in there urban/wildland and it's wildland urban interface. So that's it in a nutshell, trying to cover it all and give you the highlights.
Okay. Council, any more questions, discussions?
I guess I just want to mention that that anonymous resident that sent us the email with very thought out concerns and and good questions and good verbiage in there. I was impressed. It does sound like a little bit of my hesitation's been relieved by the fact that they are grandfathered in with existing. And I don't love this idea, but I get it. And we look at our mountain range right now without a speck of snow on it. And as we continue to build in these WUI areas, I think it'd be good to have a standardized checklist for you guys to look at, rather it's just the Wild West and then we're all pointing fingers on who to blame when a fire starts. Right. But I hope we can be more educational with this than restrictive and levying fines. And I hope we err on the sides of educating and being patient with people. But I understand what the need is here. I don't love it, but I understand it.
We don't either. We wish we had a little more input and changes and stuff, but unfortunately we don't. But we can work with our legislative people to make those changes, and hopefully we can make some better decisions and changes on the future. Right. Yeah.
Okay. With that, unless there's any further discussion, I will accept a motion for the resolution. It's not a. Okay, well, go ahead and make that suggestion. Come on up. Yeah, oh no, you're fine.
So my name is Lacey Smith and I live in Patterson Development. We were fortunate enough, and I say that jokingly kind of, when we built our home was when the canyon was on fire. And so as they were framing our home, the fire trucks were going literally up by our house. I know that some states require builders, and I know it's the due diligence of also a purchaser to let future purchasers know of the area they're in. When you were just talking about the education part, Ryan, or Councilman Rowley, that is there a thing that will be on the city's website possibly that discusses something like that, so that people that possibly are not from around here and might look at the canyon and know that it does catch fire? And that's,
Yeah, and to that point, I know, like you said, during that due diligence process, in order to get homeowners insurance, the insurance company searches out whether it's in the
I
WUI.
would just hate for them
and
to be
adjusts.
that far into the process,
Yeah.
though. So that was just
I'm sure we could add this to our story map or
No, this will be on
GIS.
our webpage and everything as
Yeah.
well.
Thank you,
but
Lacey. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you.
it was good comments. The homeowners will know before they get their building permits what the
Oh,
area they're
good.
building in. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that will be part of that.
Okay, then I'm ready for a motion.
Mayor, I motion that we approve the adoption of the 2006 Wildland Urban Interface Code.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion been seconded. Roll call vote starting Council Christensen.
Yes.
Council Moss, Council Rowley.
Yes.
Council Moss.
Yes.
Council Hyatt. Okay, moving on to the next one, the ordinance that we need to adopt for the 2006 Wildland Urban Interface Code. We've already talked about that. I'll accept a motion for that one.
Mayor, based on recent developments, I motion that we table this discussion of the business license.
No, well, this
doing
is
number
the
5.
ordinance.
Oh, sorry, 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
We were just talking about it.
You should.
I make a motion that we approve the ordinance to the adoption of the 2006 Wildland Urban Interface Code.
Okay, motion been seconded. A roll call vote starting with Council Hyatt.
Yes.
Council Moss.
Yes.
Council Rowley.
Yes.
Council Christensen.
Yes.
Okay, I think on this number 6 resolution, we have to hear from our city attorney.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. As the person who requested this agenda item number 6, I'm gonna ask at this time that it be withdrawn from the agenda. There's been some developments and it no longer needs to be addressed, but didn't have enough time to withdraw it before the notice period ran out. And so to comply with Opens Meetings Act, I would just ask that someone make a motion to withdraw it from the agenda and we can show that it's been withdrawn.
I'll make a motion that we withdraw this from the agenda.
Second.
Okay, again, a motion and a seconded, roll call vote starting with Council Christensen.
Yes.
Council Rowley.
Yes.
Council Moss.
Yes.
Council Hyatt. Okay, motion
you.
carries. Thank
Oh,
you.
I want to do this one. Can I do it, Teresa?
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion that we adjourn.
Okay. Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No.